Hey guys, Ewan here with the Old School Labs, and we are starting this video with a training video of Big Ramy, who is currently in the States. Since we are 2 weeks out of Mr. Olympia, he's already there and he's training really hard. Take a look at this video, this is insane. So I started filming this video to make a video about it, and it lasted like 2-3 minutes, the entire set. So it's D-bar rows, and it's Denis James, of course, right here. It's his profile. He's training Big Ramy, and they are doing an intense workout, only 2 weeks out. I don't know how smart this is. Can he injure himself at this point? He probably can, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing. He's probably training even harder, in the off season. But yeah, I mean, he's a big guy, so it's not that hard for him to do this kind of stuff. I'm sure he could train harder. I'm sure he doesn't really need to train that hard ever, to grow. He's just a genetic freak. He's the biggest one ever. So here you can see him doing this T-bar rows. It's an insane drop set, and you can see right here he looks big, he looks full. So we'll see how he looks at the Mr. Olympia, but considering the way he's training right now, I'm sure this will result with a lot of fullness and details. I don't know, what the game plan is with him and Chad Nichols, of course his coach. He's not coached by Denis James. at least it wasn't announced. He's just trained by him. Because Denis James used to train Big Ramy back in 2013 or was it 14? Maybe both of those years. And that was probably the time when Big Ramy made the biggest progress. Of course, it wasn't his best, but he made a lot of progress. And the way they were training, it really seemed intense. I don't think I ever saw Big Ramy train as intense as he was back in the day when he was with Denis. But let's be honest, this doesn't really mean that much. He cannot grow at this point. 2 weeks out, he's probably in a strong deficit at this point. But what it tells us is that he is driven. And when bodybuilders are this driven, just 2 weeks out, it means that they are gonna try hard in every aspect. So I'm sure Big Ramy is doing every single thing he's told by his coach or his coaches. And that will result with great success, I'm sure. So I don't know if he's going to win the Mr. Olympia, but I'm having a feeling that he's going to probably surprise us. He's probably not going to be out of, maybe he's going to crack the top 3. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe he wins the damn thing. Who knows? But I'm sure he's not going to be off. I really would be surprised if he was off this year. Big Ramy was off for Arnold Classic, but it's not that he wasn't in shape. He was in good shape. He was shredded, right? But he was kind of watery, and I guess he just didn't peak perfectly. Chad Nichols did an entire, 3-hour-long podcast about it. Mainly he talked about Big Ramy, and he gave us a lot of information as to why it happened, why he was off. So it seems like Chad learned a lot based on, through that preparation for Arnold Classic. So I'm sure now Chad knows Ramy's body way better than the last time they were preparing, so you can expect better outcome. It's gonna be good enough to win the Mr. Olympia. It could be. I doubt that, but he was second at one point. Can he be second again? I don't see why not. The only guy that he most likely cannot beat is Phil Heath, that is on. The other guys, sure, he can beat them. Who else is there that is a league better than Big Ramy? Nobody. It's only Phil. And if Phil doesn't come at his 100%, Ramy can take him out. It wasn't really that close back in 2017 when Ramy took second. But this year, it can be closer. It can be close enough, for Ramy to close that gap and actually win. It's not impossible. It's not very likely, considering his previous performance and how many times he was off, but it is a possibility. Nobody can say that it is not a possibility because he's Big Ramy. You guys know who he is. And as you can see, he's training really hard, he's focused, he's driven, and we can expect great things from him this year. I can't wait to see him on stage and actually to see him in shape. Can he, though, take out this guy, the Mr. Olympia winner right now, Brandon Curry? In my opinion, I think Brandon is going to lose against Phil, but is he going to lose against guys like Bonek, Rolly Winkler, Dexter Jackson, or Big Ramy? I don't know. I'm not sure. It can go, any way, if you ask me. The other guys, aside from Phil Heath, are all kind of close, right? Wouldn't you agree? They are all kind of close. It only depends on who's going to be on, who's going to be off. if Brandon doesn't come perfectly on, which I doubt is gonna happen. I'm pretty sure Brandon, I mean, he's kind of secure guy. He knows what he's doing. He's pretty much always on. Like, he's never really off. Sometimes he's a bit sharper, sometimes he's a bit watery, but completely off, like horribly off, doesn't happen to him. So I'm sure. And this time he had a full year. Like last year he was a little bit off, but he was competing at the Arnold Classic. Now he took a year off, so he's gonna be fresh. He's gonna peak perfectly for that day. I'm sure about that. But even if he does that, and if the other guys do the same thing, like the other guys who didn't compete, like Broly, like Bonek, Hadi Choopan too, I forgot about him because I'm not sure if he's gonna be competing, but him as well. All these guys can take Brandon out. Yeah, so like there is a possibility for Brandon to take 7th spot, right? If Phil, Rolly, Big Ramy, Bonek, Dexter, and Hadi beat him, which is not entirely impossible. But we'll see what happens in 2 weeks from now. At this point, based on this photo here, he looks really full. He looks quite veiny. I don't know how conditioned he really is. I don't really see the glutes. That's where you can, make a judgment as far as conditioning. Glutes and hamstrings, lower back. But as far as the arms and shoulders and chest and the face, he seems like he's getting in a good shape. He's in a good place. He's gonna be good enough to win another Sando. I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see in 2 weeks. So I mentioned Hadi, and we are not sure if he's going to be competing, if he's going to be able to actually travel to US, but there is a photo update, this one right here, in which he looks pretty close, to a competition shape. Yeah, it seems like he is preparing. He seems a tiny bit watery, but I don't see any fat here, really. He's lean, he's in shape. I'm sure he's hoping to go over there. When you're not sure like that, I don't know how driven can you really be. I'm sure Big Ramy's focus is way higher, considering that he's residing in US currently. Hadi's not over there yet, and he's most likely not gonna be able to get there. So it's hard. I know it's hard to actually, push your body to the limits if you're not sure it's gonna make any sense to do it. But if he actually finds out soon that he's going to be able to travel, based on this look right here, I'm sure he's going to do really, really well. Alright, enough about the freaks. I think it's about time to do some classic talk. And here is your, you can call him a classic star, but not Vissers right here. So he's basically famous for kind of reminding us of Arnold Schwarzenegger with his huge arms, big waist, small triceps, small shoulders, small legs, and with maybe a little bit of his face as well, and the fact that he likes classic golden era type of look, So yeah, that's why he has so many fans, and his channel is quite successful. But as a bodybuilder, competitive bodybuilder and NPC in a classic physique, he didn't really do that well. He was like 13th, 14th actually in Arnold Classic, not even Olympia. So yeah, he's qualified for the Mr. Olympia. He won Romania Pro last year right after the Mr. Olympia. So he is qualified and he's going to be competing soon. But I don't know how big things can really expect from this guy as a competitor. It seems like he believes in certain things and he doesn't really care too much about what the judges are thinking. It seems like he wants to create a physique that he believes is a good classic physique. And in order to be a good classic physique competitor, you need to have some things like big legs, shredded glutes, even, they're covered with the pants quite a bit, but not fully. You need to have glute separation. You can see it, a lower part at least. You need to have good back. You need to be kind of like a smaller version of a bodybuilder, right? Classical, aesthetic looking lines are definitely a big help, but it's not a priority. If you're not in conditioning, you're going to be last place. So that was biggest issue for Wesley, and he knows that. Everybody was saying that, and he admitted it. So he needs to bring the conditioning. In that previous post of his back training, he says you can even see Christmas tree. So he knows it's the conditioning that he needs to work on. It seems like he is bringing it much better this year. Take a look at this photo right here. The chest separation, the veins all over his forearms and arms and shoulders, the thinness of the skin. He seems to be bringing the shape and back as well. Take a look at it. For 2 weeks out, I mean, these kind of bodybuilders, like when they're this big, when they're on this level, they can lose so much in 2 weeks if they really try hard. So that's a long time for him actually. And for 2 weeks out, he doesn't really seem in much worse shape than Chris Bumstead. Probably identical shape, really. I mean, take a look at this back and then compare it to Chris Bumstead's. I could be wrong, but I don't know. He doesn't really seem that big of a difference. I think they are pretty much in the same conditioning. Now, does that mean that Wesley is in a really good shape, or that Chris is late, that he's behind? I don't know. I mean, the glutes and everything, I guess it's just water. I'm sure he's gonna dehydrate in the last minute. He's probably not trying to do that right now because he doesn't want to, flare up that kidney disease or immune system, whatever, because it causes a lot of water retention, and it's gonna make him feel sick and everything. So he's probably careful with that, with water manipulation. He's probably just not trying to dehydrate too much before it's time, before it's necessary. So I'm sure, in the last week, in the last days, he will, change his level of conditioning drastically. So don't be worried when you see a physique like this, when this kind of blurriness everywhere. He's not as sharp as Breon, but he doesn't need to be 2 weeks out or 2.5 weeks when this photo was taken. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to be in great conditioning at the Mr. Olympia stage, and he's going to win probably again. But this photo kind of made me doubt it a little bit. Up until this point, I was sure he's going to do it, but this photo kind of made me doubt it. But then again, I talked to some people, and they also think it's just water retention. He's going to dehydrate and be really good. I don't know. We'll see in 2 weeks from now. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like it. If you want to see more, subscribe to this channel. All the best, guys, and keep it old school.